Hey, what's up guys? This is Marco from Alfista, and if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button below, especially if you own an Alfa Romeo, because this channel is only for Alfa Romeo vehicles. I own this 2021 Alfa Romeo Stelvio as well as that 2023 Giulia Quadrifoglio, so if you want to learn how to take care of your car and make it last a long time, then this is the channel for you. This video is no different since I'm going to be showing you guys how to take care of a common issue, which is the P0299 code that you may get in this engine. This is a 2-liter turbocharged engine, and that P0299 code refers to underboost. And what that basically means is that the turbocharger isn't making enough boost. Now, there could be different reasons why you may be getting underboost. In this video, we're going to be focusing on one of the main causes of that, which is this right here. This is the Wastegate actuator rod.
Love the channel? Join as a member for bonus videos, early access, shoutouts, and more. Just click the join button. It helps me keep creating and you get cool perks. Thanks.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what the issue is here. Basically, this rod is connected in two places. One is to this actuator right here, and it's also connected to a wastegate flap on this side of the turbo. When the computer tells this actuator to open the flap, it pushes on this rod to open that wastegate flap, and then it pulls on it to close it. So there's a hole right there, there's a pin here, you just slide it in there, and you have some C-clips right here that secure it in place. It's the same thing on this side of here, we just can't see it because of this shield. Over time, things such as engine vibration will cause wear on that hole right there, and it will begin to widen. As it widens, it's gonna create a lot of play in this rod right here. Mine doesn't have that play. When I wiggle it here, it doesn't make a whole lot of noise, so mine is still in good shape. But oftentimes that underboost code is going to be related to this rod right here having too much play. So what happens is that when this actuator tries to pull on this rod and shut that flap, if this isn't snug right here, it is not going to be able to close the flap completely, leading to underboost. And for those of you who may not be aware, let's just do a quick crash course on how this turbocharger works. So basically you have exhaust gases coming out of the engine, they go into the turbocharger, and it then spins a turbine inside of the turbo. As that turbine spins, it is going to compress the air that is going into the turbo, and it is going to send that compressed air out through this pipe right here to the engine so that it can create more power. And that's what we call boost pressure. Now, the way that pressure is regulated is through that wastegate that I talked about earlier. So this rod right here connects to that wastegate flap. As the flap opens, it reduces the amount of boost that is being created. As the flap closes, it is going to allow the car to create more boost as you accelerate. So basically, the exhaust gases that are going into the turbo have two ways to go out. One way is to go through the turbine, the other way is to go through the wastegate. When this actuator closes the wastegate flap, and that wastegate is no longer available, it causes the turbine inside of the turbo to spin faster, creating more power. Now, when the car determines that it has enough boost, it is going to tell this actuator to open that flap so the wastegate can become available, thereby reducing the amount of boost that is being created by the turbo. So if you take your car into the dealership, more than likely they're going to tell you that you need a brand new turbocharger. That may cost you $4,000, maybe $5,000 to replace. That is because Alfa Romeo does not sell this rod right here. They'd rather have you replace the entire turbo because there's more money to be made there. I should mention that there is no guarantee that by replacing this rod, it's going to solve all your problems. There are other things that you should also consider when diagnosing this issue. So for example, the simplest thing that you can probably do to begin with is to check your intake. If you have any unexpected obstructions in your intake system, that could also develop underboost symptoms. You will also want to check your intake and vacuum hoses for any cracks or leaks. Also, don't forget to check for any other codes that may be shown in addition to the P0299, as that can also give you more clues as to what may be happening. Alright guys, so before I swap out that wastegate actuator rod, let me talk briefly about what I'm going to replace it with. In my hands, I have this new rod that I've gotten from Centerline International. They have sent this to me free of charge so I can share my experience with you guys. They haven't told me what to say, so whatever you hear from me is going to be exactly what I think about this product. The kit comes with this card, which has step-by-step instructions on how to perform the installation. Let's have a look at what comes in the kit. So this is the rod itself. It is very nice quality, and it's also pretty lightweight. This is made out of titanium. I'm assuming this is a titanium alloy. The Centerline website describes the OEM rod as a mild plated steel. So perhaps this one is a stronger material than the one that comes with the car. What's pretty unique about this rod here is that it has ball bearings at each end. and these are high-speed ball bearings. It also comes with stainless steel washers on this end here, which is the turbo end. The best part is that this has lifetime warranty and works on all 2017 or newer Alfa Romeo Giulias and 2018 or newer Alfa Romeo Stelvios. Right, let's see what else is in this bag. One of the most difficult parts of this installation is not losing these clips right here. These are the retaining clips that hold this rod in place. All right, so thankfully they have thought about this and they have included additional clips here for you to use. I was also intrigued by what was in this bag right here. This is a very tiny bag. It has some powder inside of it. And it turns out that this is a graphite powder, which is supposed to be used as a lubricant for this end right here. The folks at Centerline told me that this is completely optional, but I would highly recommend that you do this, since this is going to greatly reduce the amount of friction between these parts here. Graphite essentially creates like a slippery surface so that there is less wear and tear on these parts. And here is a fun fact. The same graphite that's in that bag is the one that you're gonna find here in the regular pencil. This is not made of lead as people would think. This is actually graphite. So if you can shave some of this stuff off, you can also use that for that same purpose. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the installation here. As you guys can see, I've already removed the engine cover. There are two bolts right here. These are 10 millimeters. You're gonna take those off and then the engine cover will come off. For the purpose of this video, I'm also gonna remove this strut bar right here so that you guys can clearly see what I'm doing over there. In order to remove this, there are two 10 millimeter nuts that I need to remove, one on each end. So let me go ahead and do that.
Even though the kit comes with replacement C-clips, it's always a good idea to use a towel or something to catch the C-clips in case they fall as you're removing them. You could also use a magnet, which is what I'm holding in my hands. This tool has a magnetic tip, which could help secure the retaining clips as you're removing them.
You can probably use a small screwdriver. In my case, I have this big tool right here that I'm going to use. So I'm just gonna stick it in there. There's a small gap in this C-clip that I can wedge it in there, and then I can pull this back. And there's that clip right there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the one in the back. That one was a little bit harder, but it came off. There you can see what it looks like. This one is much bigger than this one over here. I'm gonna use the same tool to detach this spring. So I'm just gonna push on this right here. Maybe put my hand in there to kind of help it. And there you can see there, that is disengaged. Now that we have that removed, I can just go ahead and lift on this. Let me show you guys what this old rod looks like. Okay, I'm not seeing a whole lot of wear on this. There is a little bit of wear in the inside there, also here on top, but not much. This car has about 45,000 miles on it, and like I said, I haven't gotten that P0299 code yet. It's running great, but I think this is the perfect time now to go ahead and replace this before it becomes a problem. And this right here is the replacement one. You guys can see side by side. I've noticed that the new one is slightly wider here at the ends, but the holes line up perfectly. Now let's go ahead and weigh them to see how they compare. So the OEM rod weighs in at 1.7 ounces. Let's see what the new titanium rod does. That's 1.3 ounces. So that's a savings of about half an ounce. That's not too bad. I guess that translates to maybe 4 extra horsepower, you think? So I went ahead and cut the zip tie here, and this is what we got. Okay, we have these two stainless steel washers. The instructions say that we need to place this rod with the flange side facing down. Now, when I look inside here, this piece comes off and that has a flange in it. So I'm guessing this would be what they're talking about here. All right, I think I got it, guys. So the reason why I'm getting confused is because these are two pieces here, and one goes under here, okay? And another one goes on top. They both have a flange, but I shouldn't be looking at them as two separate pieces, instead of as a whole, I think. Okay, so if I look at them as a whole, then this is the flange side, which goes right here. Right, so this is the side that we need to go down. So the instructions say that we need to put this washer down there, and then we put this on top, and then we put another washer. So it's basically sandwiched like this. I noticed that inside here there's like a spring here that comes from the factory. The instructions don't say anything about removing this, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it in there. So next up, it says to add some graphite to that washer there. So I'm gonna be using this shop towel here, and I'm actually gonna take this washer out since it's kind of difficult to do it while it's in there. I'm just gonna rub it on there just like that. All right, now let me go ahead and put it back. We're gonna take the rod here. Flange side is going to be down, and it says to apply some more of that graphite on top of here before we put the other washer on top. You can also get graphite in a spray can. I'm realizing that I'm having a hard time aligning the hole to fit into this post right here. Thankfully, I was able to, find the other piece that fell on that side over there. So in this case, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing and reach out to Centerline to, get some guidance from them to see what I can do next. And by the way, as I'm looking at this closer here, I know that I said earlier that this right here had high-speed ball bearings on both ends, but this end does not have ball bearings. It's only this actuator side that has ball bearings. The guys at Centerline told me that this is a new prototype. So it's been a few days after I reached out to Centerline, and this is what they sent me. This is a replacement bearing for the turbo side, and this is what we're going to be using. And hopefully this is going to be the right bearing that needs to go in that post. All right, so they explained to me that they're still working on this prototype, and this is the updated bearing here. So we're gonna go ahead and put that into the rod. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the washer again in there. This time I got a little brush here that I got from my shaving kit. I'm gonna use that to rub some of this graphite powder on there. Just put it on the washer like so. Doesn't need to be perfect. And I'm gonna put this washer on there. This is the new bearing here. And yes, they did explain to me that you need to put it like this, okay? So this is the turbo side, slides in there. So this is how it should go. This is the bottom side. Before I slide it in there, I'm gonna put some graphite powder on top of this side here. This should now slide right into place. Let's see, and yes, that's how it should be. Very easy to slide it in. Now we're gonna get the other stainless steel washer and drop that on top. Now we're gonna add the retaining clip so that it doesn't come off. I am gonna be using the new retaining clips that came with the kit. You know that moment when everything is running smoothly until it isn't? Putting this retaining clip in that turbo side post right there is the most difficult part I've come across so far. I'm gonna try using this flathead screwdriver to see if it helps. Just trying to grab the edge of it and push it in. All right, I heard something. It's almost there. I don't want to apply too much pressure. I think it's in there now. I'll double check here in a minute. Now I need to put back this spring. There's a little hole here on top of the rod that this slides into. Now let me do the actuator side. Let's see how it goes with this C-clip. Yeah, that one's a lot easier to put in. All right, guys, the work is done here. I went ahead and made sure that the C-clips are properly seated. There's nothing loose. I've got to say that the workmanship on this rod here and all of these components, it's really, really impressive. And I can tell that there's a lot of engineering that went into developing this. Be sure to check out the Centerline website. I'm sure you guys are not going to be disappointed with this item here. So let's go ahead and test it out. So the install is completed, guys. As you guys can see, I put everything back together. I do want to give a big thank you to Centerline International for sending this part to me free of charge so that I can share my experience with you guys. I will be updating the video description in case I run into any trouble with this part, but I don't suspect that I will since it seems to be very good quality. And I want to point out that this may not extend the life of the turbo itself, but at least it will prevent that annoying underboost code from popping up. One thing that you can do to extend the life of your turbo is to not let it heat soak. So for example, when I'm done driving, I pull into the garage and I let the engine idle for 30 to 60 seconds. That allows the turbo to cool down a little bit before you shut off the engine. Some guys even go as far as not using an engine cover at all to reduce heat soaking. In my case, the reason why you don't see an engine cover here is because I'm currently working on a video that is going to do a deep dive on this engine here. So if that is something that is of interest to you, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss that video or any other videos that are coming up. All right, that's it for now, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.